65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
Hello. Welcome to the Ghana Agenda. My name is Alfred Amuzu, and today is January 15th, 2022. We are here, 2022, and today we are doing a very interesting show. We are going to review everything that happened in 2021. So if you know somebody who needs to benefit from this program and they're currently now watching, please share the link so they can watch and participate. Now, I wanted to take the opportunity to wish everybody who's watching also a happy new year. 2021 was very eventful. We know what we went through with coronavirus and the various variants. We are currently in the fourth wave, even in Ghana and in the United States, equally everywhere. And it doesn't seem like this disease is going away. So that's one of the things we'll be talking about. I'll be joined today by my regular panelists in person of Paul Disosu, Efa Ameyao, Amponsa, Amponsa, and then, of course, if you're lucky, we'll also be joined by our own Dr. Ato Kwabena. So I'm watching here because my team is playing. We are 2-0 up. I'm talking about Manchester United. I'm not talking about Ghana now. I know we have the African Cup of Nations going on, and we'll kind of quickly reflect on that as well, considering what we see Ghana doing, etc. My system is kind of giving me a little problem today. I'm unable to change my background for whatever reason. So we're going to rock like that. But in the meantime, please let a friend who needs to benefit from this program know. Share the links. Today, we are going to unveil a product that is something I enjoy as a kid growing up. But there is a history behind this product, and I'll be unveiling that product, which is made by one of my friends from Eliam Limited. In the meantime, let's take a quick break. So that I can get myself ready. Let your friends join, share the link. Let's all please share the link so we can have, people join and watch this program. Again, my name is Alfred Amuzu, and this is the Ghana Agenda. This is the first episode for 2022, and what we will be doing today is go back and look at all the things that happened in 2021. Quite a lot happened. Went from, election petition all the way to e-levy. We'll be discussing all that. And like I said, I'll be joined again by my regular panelists. Please, if you have not already done so, please share the link. Afishapa, Happy New Year. We'll be right back.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
All right, welcome back to the show. Again, I've been running around in the background, so I'm holding my breath. So today, like I said, we're going to be doing a product reveal. As soon as that starts, I would bring it. As soon as that starts, I will let you know. Matter of fact, let's do it now while we wait for the friends, right? While we wait for everybody to join. Let's do a product reveal. I think I have some message already. Okay, so somebody's watching us. Opoku Azala says, good one. So thanks for watching, Opoku. Please tell a friend to tell a friend so they can watch the program. Here's the program that we are revealing, the products that we are revealing today. This is called Joe. And my friend who actually manufactures this, Alinyam, is actually sponsoring this program. And so we are again unveiling this program. He has a lot of other products that he actually it's making and is putting out there in the market. What is Joe? So a lot of people would probably be seeing this for the first time. In Asante, we call this Adakwa, which I haven't heard it before, but I'm told it's called Adakwa in Asante. This actually is a very historic product. If you recall, or if you know the story, apparently this was eaten by warriors back in the days. This is a corn with I think it's actually, I don't know how they do it per se, but I think this corn is grilled with it has rice in it, it has peanut, sugar, salt, and spices. You put it in your mouth and it gives you a lot of energy. So it's one of those things I like to have in my office when I'm going to that meeting and the meeting is going longer and you just need to eat. Of course, it's sealed properly. So when you get it in the mail, it's not been tampered with. So this is really good. It's something you want to have in your office. You can even pass it on to people and they will love it. It's called Joe. My understanding is that the Airways, back in the days when they were actually fighting war or during the times of war, that this was something they always had with them so that when they're hungry, they feed on this. You can get this at the phone numbers for you to get this if you're in Ghana is 044-231195, 044-231195. Or you can also get it at 024-399-6772, 024-399-6772. I'm going to post that so you can see. It's actually made by Alinyam Ventures. Alinyam Ventures. It's Joe. Joe is, like I said, something that warriors eat when they are actually fighting. That way they don't have, to worry about cooking and, having been discovered by the enemy, etc., while they are fighting their battles. And it has a lot of spices in it. So for me, when I'm in the office and I grab this, whether it is that I'm in long meetings or just not trying to go to lunch, that comes very handy and I love it so far. So if you're interested, we'll try to get this in the United States as Sometime within the year, we're working on that. He's working on that. I'm assisting, and a few other friends are assisting. But this is Joey. Joey is not the only thing he's producing. Like I said, there's all kinds of other products. Zomi, if you're interested in Zomi, Zomi, which is what you use to cook your okra soups and etc. If you're interested in that, he has that as well, and so many other products from the Elignam family of products that I've become a fan of. Elignam is the company is actually owned by Esikpe, who's a very good friend of mine, a senior of mine in elementary school, and a big brother who I look up to a lot. So that is that on Joey. When my guests come, I will ask them if they've had any encounter with Joey before, what the experiences were, etc. So we can all share our thoughts on, how good this is. I think this is good. I think this is a must-have. It's a must-have. And we are in the United States. We are able to have this in the comfort of our home. You cannot beat that. Anyway, so that is that. So today, like I said, we are talking about 2021. And if you recall, one of the first things that happened, or one of the things that lingered from 2020 that went into 2021 is the COVID. COVID has, been with us for, I think since March of 2020, and we are now going on, we are going into the second, or we are now about to complete the second year and going to a third year with COVID. My understanding is Spain has begun to, release policies that indicate that, this disease is going to be with us, COVID is here to stay. And so how do we deal with something like that? Something that is going to stay with us for a long time. Do we just assume that because it's going to stay, we'll relax, and if you get sick, treat yourself, etc.? Or should we continue with the vaccination? I've also seen pastors continue to preach against the vaccines, that the vaccines are not good for you, etc., etc. So we are going to look at all this as we discuss how our country, Ghana, has responded to COVID. What are some of the efforts going on? Where can you get a vaccine? If you were to be sick today and you want a COVID vaccine, where can you get one? Is it readily available? How many persons or people within our population has been vaccinated so far? We know the key to, return to pre-COVID economic activity levels is getting people vaccinated. So how are we doing with that? We also know, in discussing COVID, we also know that at some point within 2020, our Minister of Health went to get the Russian version of the vaccine, the Sputnik V, which brought so many issues. There was calls for him to resign, etc. He didn't resign. So how has COVID been handled in Ghana? How has COVID been handled in Ghana? Aston Villa just equalized, so I'm really not happy. But then again, let me take a quick break and check on my guest. If you are watching, please share the link. How has Ghana handled COVID? It's going to be one of the things we talk about today. Then we switch to our economy. Today, I'm reading this. Okay, I have Paul with me so far. Today, I'm reading that our debt level has gotten to a distress level, or our debt level has gotten so bad that we are at a level of debt distress. What that means is nobody wants to buy any financial instruments that has Ghana on it. Beyond that, it looks like we have inched that 81% of GDP debt to GDP ratio, which means, our situation, we've since be classified as one of the debt distressed countries, in addition to countries like Lebanon, etc., which we'll be looking at. So how are we managing the debt situation? Are we consolidating enough? In other words, are we reducing expenditure enough so that we don't spend much to where we would need to continue to borrow? I currently have Paul Disosu with me. He just joined. Paul, if you can hear me, welcome to the show. I'm waiting for the rest of the crew to join. But let me take a quick break, go to the green room and find out how everyone is doing, who's joining, who's not joining. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. This is the Ghana Agenda, the first episode for 2022. We have a couple of messages, one from Divine Odonko, who says, this is originally made in Western Togoland. Yes, you're talking about Joe. Joe is actually made in Volta region. Now, of course, Togo does that as well, and all there were, areas within the West Africa region are familiar with Joe. So Joe, like we said again, is one of those snacks that you cannot do without. You need to have this in your office, at your disposal, anywhere you are that you may not be able to, or that you just want a snack. It's really good. It has a lot of spices. For me, whenever I take it, all of a sudden I see this much energy rushing in. Maybe this is because of the spices, but that is Joe for you. Anyway, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back to continue with the discussions. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. The Ghana Agenda is on, and today we are discussing the year 2021.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
All right. Welcome back to the show. Paul is on, and I see Daniel. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Right. Paul, can you hear me as well? I know you came on first, but I can see your picture. If you can hear us, Paul, let us know that you can hear us, and we would bring you on. Okay, Daniel, so I think your room is a little dark, but I hope your 2022 is going to be brighter than that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I'm trying to set up something. 1 second.
Say it again. Okay, great.
I'm trying to set up mine.
All right. So I was introducing this product to viewers and listeners. This is actually from a friend. I don't know if you can see it well. Okay, great. Let me send it to the camera. It's called Joe. The accounts call it Adakwa. Now, I don't know how they call it in the other beautiful languages of our country, but it's one of those things or snacks that, of course, you need to have. Like I said, it's something I keep in my office, and usually, there are just times that you have meetings that are, elongated and you can't go for lunch. Grab this. Or there are times that you just want some energy, so that you can go ahead and do work without necessarily getting up and interrupting your daily activity. Joe is the way to go. Now, Joe comes made with rice, corn. It has some peanut sugar, salt and spices in there. It's really, really, really good. It's actually made by a friend of mine called Chris Esikpe. Chris Esikpe is, actually a brother. We all grew up together in a flower, and this guy is doing wonderful things. This is not the only thing Chris is making. Now, Chris told me a story behind this. He said Joey actually happens to be one of those products that are eaten by warriors when they go to war, especially during the battles. You don't want to, stop fighting and grab food. This was the meal our grandfathers ate then. So I don't know if you have any experience with this. Daniel, have you had any experience with Joey or Adakwa before? And if so, what any opinions that you can share about it? What do you like or dislike about it? It comes very spicy, so I'm recommending that as a snack for everyone who's watching. And there are numbers here that you can actually buy this from. We are going to bring this into the United States, and if you're interested, though, by all means, reach out to me. Otherwise, there will be website posted that you can get this from. Dan, have you ever had any experience with this before?
Yes, I think I recently did. I went to an African market. I think it was my wife who talked about it. And
Right.
I think it reminds me. I think in Ghana, I had a chance to try one, and then I remember that it is that same thing that they've packaged it and made it nice. And this one, it is really good. I liked it, and it reminds me. Long time ago, I had some when I was in Ghana. I'm like, wow, I'm happy our people have found a way of packaging these things and making it international. That way, many people can also get to see some of the things that
enjoy, all the good things that we like about this. Yes.
Yeah. It's a nice product. I would recommend it to anybody to try it. Have it in your car, have it at your office desk table, have it, a snack. It's handy, it gives energy, and it's nice. Yeah. Nice flavor.
Right. Yeah. So Joey has been a classic. I have a story with it. Actually, my grandmother happened to sell that when we were kids, and I was the one pretty much sitting by it and selling it to people. And whenever before we go to sleep at night, I found where she was hiding the whole package. So I go and put it in my pocket. So while everybody's sleeping, I'm enjoying my Joey and getting my energy to sleep with. But really, really nice product. If you're interested or you haven't tried it before, please try. This one is by, again, Elinyam Ventures, and it's a company that makes various snacks and other products of great historical value and very tasty. Okay, so Paul, are you still having difficulties? Paul, can you hear me now? All right. Anyway, Dan, since this is the first I'm seeing you in the year, Happy New Year. How have you been surviving for the first 15 days of 2021? And I know a lot of things are also coming from Ghana from all angles. How are you coping with all this and taking your notes for our shows like this or shows that you've been on?
Yeah, it's I can't believe it. It's half of the month already. And the month is running as fast as anything. So I would say we're hoping for the best in 2022, but it appears COVID is still here with us. So we just have to pray and hope that we can all get through it. So safely and successfully.
Right.
I'll say last year was a tough year. Hope for the country and especially Ghana. And I hope I don't pray that this year we experience the same level of toughness we experienced last year. Otherwise, people will suffocate to something drastically has to happen so that we can bring relief to a lot of people and great opportunities again. That's what I can hope for. And then I pray that all the panelists too. I pray that we have time, we have energy, God grants us good health so we can continue to come and share ideas about our country and the way forward. So I think we just have to be hopeful and pray that whatever we plan come to pass, and then we can say yes, we achieve our goals at the end of the year. So happy New Year again to all of us and to my other families, those that are yet to join and those that are on as well, and to yourself and your viewers and your listeners.
Happy New Year. Thank you so much for that. Paul, can you hear us?
Hi, Alfred. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, Paul. I see you're on the road, and I believe you're having a little bit of connection
Yes, I
issues.
should be I should be all set in the next 20 minutes. Where I'll be home and be there to I'm going to contribute. But to start with, I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. Um, we are grateful that the good Lord has given us the grace, the mercies for us to all see the year 2022. We are grateful to that. It is my prayer and hope that in the year 2022, anytime we come on this show, let's be truthful to ourselves. We should stop throwing dust into the eyes of the good listeners of this show, and
Right.
also stop playing mischief. The truth is only one, and let all of us stick to the truth. That is how we can grow our country. That's the way we can develop our country, Ghana. If we refuse to say the truth to those in power, be NDC, be NPP, we should all have the courage, irrespective of the party we belong to. If the government is doing anything wrong, we should be ready and bold to say to the face of the government and the president that whatever you are doing is wrong, it's unacceptable, and we should speak against it. This is what I want to say at the opening remark. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul Disosu, for those remarks. I have a Lifetime Legacy on message line. He's saying that Happy New Year to you guys. Happy New Year to you as well, Lifetime Legacy. We're hoping to see you today, but I'll message you in the background. Lifetime Legacy is also one of our panelists, and he's taking his time to watch us today. Please share our link so others can join. We also have Peter Hanyo, Togwi Peter Hanyo, very important chief from Aflau, actually, my hometown. He's taking his time to watch us, and we appreciate all the support you gave us, Chief. And Chief is saying Joe, which is, the products I was showing a few minutes ago. And then, of course, Lifetime Legacy says, guns always, it says what? Guns always, I'm sure he's trying to say guns call the product Daku. And he says he sees that I'm from Aflau. Yes, I am from Aflau. All right, so guys, what I want us to do today, and I'm waiting for I'm going to reach out to him to make sure he's also joining us. And we would also be joined by Dr. Atto shortly. What I wanted us to talk today about is all the things that we've heard or watched of, experienced, went through, discussed on this program and other programs in the year 2021. And I want us to start from COVID. Ghana is currently in the fourth wave. So far, it appears we have about 10% of the population inoculated or vaccinated. And we know that in order to open our economy and go back to the pre-COVID days, that we need more vaccinations. So let me start from Daniel. Daniel, what is your assessment of how we've handled COVID in 2021 so far? Because, of course, we didn't have vaccines until sometime in 2021. And I remember the president being the first one to get inoculated around March timeframe or so, or he was one of the first ones to come out to be inoculated with his wife. And since then, we've had the vaccine program being run in Ghana. What is your assessment of how we are doing with vaccinating our population, controlling the virus so that we can have our economy bounce back?
Yeah, I think, largely vaccination works. We know, the evidence has shown over time, even here in the US, that if not for if it hadn't been the vaccination, the second wave would have been terrible for all of us, or the fourth wave in America, or the Omicron. And Delta and the previous one, COVID-19, would have still raged on, So as far as the evidence goes, if people want to be, scientists, just be. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. If people want to be scientific about it, the science has proved that the vaccines work. It doesn't mean the vaccines eliminate or takes away the coronavirus. The vaccines might not do that, but at least they protect you against the severe illness and the severe implications from, totally being unvaccinated. So on that score, I think the world has come around. We've done well. And the good thing is that the vaccine that used to be a nationalized commodity is now being, allowed for other countries to, have. So it's now become like a commodity or something out there that everybody who wants access can get. And that is a good thing.
Right.
So fortunately for Ghana, I think we've been proactive. We have gotten most of the vaccines that we need, but it's not every country that has it in the capacity in which we have it. And that must be clear to many people. The world, some part of the world have not even seen vaccines yet.
Right.
So we are not, when it comes to the rest of the world, it is not as normal as in the US where you can get a vaccine quickly. That in the US, almost getting a vaccine.
Would you say Ghana is one of those part of the world where the vaccine hasn't really taken a root? Because we're talking about
we have that we have gotten the vaccines out there. Now it is about the people being vaccinated. And think about it, Ghana for a very long time, our health system have had a good vaccine structure in place. So getting vaccines to, our people is not really Ghana's like bottleneck, and to be fair. And thankfully to you, the zip line thing too helps a lot to be able to send these vaccines to remote area. So when it comes to like the distribution, the supply chain of distributing like medication or vaccines across our country and the systems in place to do that, fortunately for Ghana, we've had a program long before COVID for doing that. And so, it's just a matter of activating it. But the issue now is people coming up to, being vaccinated and people not running away from the vaccine. Because in recent times, I was told they sent some vaccines to some part of the country and some people rejected it, So that is the issue. I think we should be able to accelerate and vaccinate many people. And recently, too, I heard some doctors talk about, some concerned doctors come to, try to discredit the vaccine, the vaccination going on and even asking government to stop it, But like I said, everybody's life, as far as the government is trying to make sure that there's, public health safety standard, and you decide you don't want it, at that point, it's not your government that has failed you. It is your decision. So whatever happened, the consequence be on you. But the thing is that if the consequence was only going to remain with you, who cares? That is your problem, right? But the fact that you don't get vaccinated, you get, affected by the virus, you can spread it to other innocent people or standby bystanders, then that becomes an issue of the public health we are trying to resolve. So I would say we have to increase the speed, increase the acceleration, because these vaccines too, I'm told, have expiration dates. And if we don't do that quickly, we might even miss out on some of the ones that we've had already, and the expiration date might catch up with that. So on that score, I think that we stand in a good place to be able to vaccinate most of our people. And we need to see a lot of vaccination happen in 2022, because we don't know what other variant might come up. As of now, I'm told the Omicron is increasing in numbers in Ghana. But the good news is that the South Africans are saying that the Omicron infectious, or it's not as deadly as the previous one. So your mic is mute. Alfred, you're talking to your mic is mute.
Yeah, so beyond South Africa, I think we saw the data in the US also point out to the fact that people are getting sick, the hospital beds are full, but the death rate is really, people are not dying. I think for the several thousands that we have in the United States, so far it killed about less than 10 people or so. So it's not as deadly. That's why we have a country like Spain saying that, you know what, we are going to live with this thing. So people should, relax. And, when you get COVID, it's treatable. You can treat it. Now we have advanced in medicine. There are pills that you can actually even take, etc., etc. But so in your assessment, you say that the issue Ghana is currently having is more of resistant to the vaccine versus whether it's available for people to take, correct? Okay.
Right. And so I think it is not as deadly as before. The risk factors, as far as we know, has been largely, but that doesn't mean Delta is not in the system still.
Right.
So we have two viruses. We have three, right? In fact, if
variants and other mutations are happening. And we don't know what is out there that hasn't been discovered yet.
So it means that the risk is still out there for everybody. The vaccine, just like you said, will probably ensure that you don't die, which is the last resort, the worst case scenario. But also think about it, the inconvenience of going to the hospital and being admitted there, and that alone can throw you off, right? So people should try as much as possible not to even be sick to first of all, go to the hospital and then they can't work and their daily schedules are disrupted and all that kind of stuff. That inconvenience is not good for you. If you really are a business person or you have something important doing out there, you can see that can cost you a lot. So people should just take care of themselves. But I think going forward, 2022 and beyond, we should see some I would say, calmness. The only thing now will be the ravaged or the impact that COVID has had on our economics and how government will be able to recover from all the issues of supply chain bottlenecks and, making sure that we're able to quickly recover and avoid what I call another virus on the other side, the inflation that is beginning to ravage economics and create concerns for many other countries. So we should quickly get over this, and then our government should also quickly resolve the economic impacts that thing has come to create for our people, so that we can have a lot of relief going forward. But people should just, like you said, now just have it in their mind that, hey, this is like any other, thing we've seen, like polio or those, that we're going to live with it. So we must manage to live with it. And I think that is the mindset I'm seeing from Israel, Spain, and some other places, that, hey, let's begin to treat this as, something we're going to live with and then deal with it as we move on. So that is what I would say for now. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks for that submission on the COVID piece of our discussion today. So, Paul, let me come to you, Paul. Paul, we've seen the likes of Sammy Gyamfi, who speaks for the NDC, coming out against the mandatory vaccination. We've even seen in the Supreme Court of the United States but a couple of days ago, defeating or rejecting or ruling against the president of the United States, in this case, Joe Biden's mandatory workplace vaccination policy. How do you assess the progress Ghana has made? Do you think in Ghana that we've done well? We've seen the president actually recently announce that people couldn't fly to the country unless they have, taken, or they are fully vaccinated. And in this time, we don't even know what fully vaccinated is, right? But in other words, you couldn't go to Ghana unless you have the 2 jabs of the vaccines that require 2 jabs. If you're taking the Johnson & Johnson, that you have that 1 jab. What is your assessment of how we are doing in Ghana in containing this vaccine, in containing, this disease, the pandemic, and also in, attempting to bring our economy back to force? And let's welcome FI as we do that. But Paul, you have the floor.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Amuzu. Unfortunately, this COVID spread and this, Omicron, now we call it, it's real. And as it is, we all have to be very careful and take good care of ourselves. We need to make sure that, we maxed up. For me, I'll use your program to say that, if you have the jab available, take it, because it helps. And there has been data and, research shows that, most of the people who are getting very sick and ending up in the ICU and all those are those who have refused to take, the jab. Even though some people took the jab and they are still getting sick, it's not as serious as those who have not taken the jab. So I think it's a very good thing for us all to understand that taking the jab is something that we all have to try and then do to reduce the high risk of death that occurred when the COVID broke out. The good news also is that this Omicron virus, even though it spreads faster than the COVID, it's not deadly as the COVID, as we've all said or before. But to drill down to what's happening in our country, Ghana, I think the president has still or will still remain the autocratic president as he is. Why am I saying so? I'm saying this because after we have all said, and before we broke or before we took a break on this show last year, I stated categorically that look, nobody is preventing you from enacting a law or making vaccine mandatory. If you want to do that, go to the right channel, enact an EI as we speak. I'm not seeing the executive instrument that has been signed to decree that if you have not taken the vaccine, you can't go to certain places. That is what is happening in this country, as you said. The president of this country, Joe Biden, tried to make it a mandatory that if you don't take the vaccine, you cannot enter into some federal state, and you cannot, and some, big companies, you have to force your employees to take it. And the Supreme Court has ruled against it. Okay, this country, they did the right thing. Or I am asking the autocratic president who wants to use his autocratic, dictatorship rule to do everything that this don't have to go about it. If you want to enact a law, go through the right process and enact the law. Go, let your Minister for Health enact a law. Go to the Parliament of Ghana, let the Parliament of Ghana approve it, put a signature under it, and it become an executive instrument under your presidency. As we speak, I still do not believe, and I think Comrade Sami JP is in court with this issue. And also, let me also say that our government is not being transparent with the people of Ghana. Why am I saying so? As we speak, the Food and Drug Board has stated categorically that they have given emergency, approval for the vaccine that are being used for our brothers and sisters back home in Ghana to be used. The question over here is, why is the government of Ghana refusing to go through the right process to get it passed out as a drug that is safe? As we speak, when Commissioner Mijimpi, wrote the FDA, he asked for the details of the test samples that they've done. They refuse to give those information out. That is why most people in Ghana, most of our folks are refusing to take the jab because they will not be transparent. We don't know the FDA is saying about the efficiency and efficacy of the vaccine that they are giving to our people. And look, in this country, you cannot just give, shots or jabs to people without the federal FDA, giving total approval.
Right.
That's what has happened in this country. But in Ghana, they have not given the total approval. They have just given emergency approval, which is different from total approval. So I think there is super incompetent government of the MPP in charge to do the right thing. Let's get the FDA to come out and let's tell us, they should give us data that shows that, people who are taking these jabs will not have side effects. There are no future implication of it. Even though this country, we have known and then we know that the FDA has stated that if you have, some terminal ill diseases and you get this sickness and take this jab, there are some side effects of it or not. We know. Why is the FDA in Ghana not trying to do that? We should get them to do that. Look, if you want to get your people to vaccine, if you want to get people to have the jabs in their arms, okay, you have to be fair, transparent, and then you don't try to play games and tricks on the people. I understand in Ghana, and most of our folks in Ghana, and most of the people in the villages, they have different understanding of what is going on. Until the government come clean, okay, the government is transparent with the things that, and the research from the FDA to let them know that, no, when you take this jab, these are the implications. In the future, maybe ABC will happen to you, but DEF is not going to happen until they come out with the full report. This is what is going to happen. I know and understand, and I heard that most people in Ghana are refusing to take the jabs because they think, the jabs will give them future implications. And that is why I heard that most of the, vaccine that are taken to Ghana for free, which is sent, are getting expired and they are throwing them out because people are refusing to take the jabs. So for me, transparency, truthfulness is what is needed. And Mr. Muzo, I just don't want you to, let's stop saying that the vaccine has affected the economy. The vaccine or whatever is happening, the COVID, the Omicron virus, the COVID-19, everything is affected every economy in the world. It's not only Ghana. So for our friends in the government to be saying that it has affected the economy, look, every economy is affected. Even in the US here, our economy is affected.
So what are you saying? You shouldn't say that it affected the economy or what? I
am saying that as much as the COVID and the virus is around, countries are doing very well, are fighting and are working hard to put the economy on track. But that's not what is happening in my beloved country, Ghana, Mother Ghana. The people in charge just do not know what to do. They are hiding behind COVID and trying to say that because of COVID, that's why they've borrowed over 320 billion Ghana cedis. And that is not true. 220 billion Ghana, sorry, that is not true. They should freeze the economy, They touted themselves when they were in the opposition that they know how to fix the economy. They are the
Mhm.
best managers of the economy. So they should not hide behind COVID. I am saying, if you go to, Afghanistan, COVID is
Mhm.
over there. The economy is affected, but they are working because they have good managers who are managing the economy, and the economy is on right footing, just like the United States. Even though with the high rate of death and all that we've seen in the past 2020, 2021, we are trying to get the economy back on track. People are looking for, people to work. People cannot get the jobs are there. People are not even getting it. They are not getting people to work. But
Mhm.
that is not what is happening in Ghana. I am saying, and I'm stating over here, that the managers of the economy, they don't know what they are doing. They don't understand what is going on. They should call stakeholders meeting. They should bring people from all walks of life back home in Ghana, and
Mhm.
let's sit down and let's look at our economy. Because if we don't do that, our economy is on the verge of collapsing. And Alfred, you and I know that as we speak, when we went for roadshow to go and sell some bonds, to get some bonds from the
Mhm.
market, we did not get anybody subscribing to it because they know we are in danger. We are sitting on timing bomb. Our
Right.
economy can collapse at any time. So for me, I am saying that these excuses that my good brother Ifa and his folks will be saying
Mhm.
that is the virus that has made the economy to be in the state it is. I am saying that it is neither here nor there. Other
Right.
countries are also facing the same thing, but they are managing the economy well. If Ifa and his folks are lack of
But in
ideas,
the
then
sub-Sahara region, though, we are one of those countries that, in spite of the COVID, we saw a positive GDP growth. So
that's what
you
I'm coming
cannot,
to.
yeah.
That's what I'm coming. So you cannot have your cake and eat it free. Even though we have COVID, one of the countries that saw a positive growth in their GDP is Ghana. That's what they are saying. Which means,
Right.
as I stated, I believe, Alfred, that they've been juggling with figures. They are not telling us the true figures of the economy. And look, Alfred, that is why how can you be getting a growth in your GDP, but your economy is not doing well? People are not being paid. Jobs are not there. You
Mhm.
see, I just don't understand this government. The politics should stop. In 2022, they should be truthful to the good people of Ghana. That is why you can see that there's going to be a lot of labor agitation in this year, 2020. They are just lying. They keep on lying to us. The figures that they present to us, they prefer different figures to the IMF. And Alfred, I believe and I hope that the reason why this super incompetent government does not want to do everything possible to pass the e-levy is that they know that if they have to go to the IMF is going to scrutinize them. The true figures of the economy will show, and that is why that's what they are trying to avoid. That's why they are doing everything possible to pass this e-levy through. Because without the e-levy, look,
Mhm.
they cannot be able to survive. And if they
Right.
cannot survive, why won't you go to IMF? They don't want to go to IMF because they believe, and I believe strongly, that the figures they are churning out are fake. Because you cannot go to the IMF with fake figures. When they go to the IMF and they want to get, the support of the IMF, the true
Mhm.
figures of the economy will show. And Alfred, I am telling you, our economy is on the verge of collapsing. I will hold on here and listen to my brother Ifa.
All right. Thank you so much for those submissions. You said our economy is on the verge of collapsing. We need e-levy. They are not telling us the truth. COVID hasn't necessarily impacted, or COVID has not, impacted our economy the way it's being, put out there. These are the things that we heard from Paul. What is your assessment of how we've handled COVID in Ghana? Considering the fact that it's only 10% of the population that has been inoculated so far after 1 year at it, right? Is it just because of the resistance or the people refusing to take the medicine? Some of the vaccines, like we have heard here, are getting spoiled and being thrown away. What is the issue? Do we not have the necessary cold chain to ensure the vaccines are kept in proper condition until they make it to the inoculatee or the person who's getting inoculated? What are the difficulties and the challenges we are facing as a country in containing this pandemic from where you stand?
Yeah, thank you very much, Alfred. Greetings to Paul. Greetings to Nanaya. today, the way he's relaxed, I know he's going to come up with some firepower. Thanks for coming and thanks for showing up. We will come here and we were going to straighten up issues and straighten up matters.
Right.
If people are confused about taking the vaccines, one of the reasons is, the global, there's a global resistance to the vaccine about its safety and stuff like that. And when you come to Ghana, the NDC is also on the verge. Sammy Gyamfi in recent times and press conferences and on his page on Twitter and all over the place are telling people that the vaccine is not safe and blah 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 and stuff like that and all. So that's also a contributing factor. He is somebody that, if nobody at all, the NDC supporters that you listen to, and they will take his word as gospel truth. So if we have a situation where when the first dose got to Ghana, we have members of parliament led by an NDC member, asking for more of the vaccines, and they don't know that it is safe, then we are, you see, in the country, right, when one person makes a statement that is supposed to be verified by different aspects of the country, different agencies. If a whole speakers of parliament and the whole MPs cannot find out, what the FDA did to ascertain this, and it has to take Sammy Gyamfi, the posture of Sammy Gyamfi is not nation building per se. If you want to find out something, there are ways you can go about it in a very civil way, and not this bossy, kind of counter, want to prove them wrong and stuff like that. It's not healthy, and that wouldn't be the route. So I would look at it from the point that if the parliamentarians, if all these MPs will take for their family something that is not wholesome, that is not safe, then I don't know who else will make sure that the agencies in there are working. Now globally, Paul, you have to listen to this. The jab that you took, right? They are all emergency. All of them are experimental. We are all being used as experimental everywhere.
Right.
Wherever you've taken the COVID vaccine, we are all being used as experiments. So if you have doubts about the one that is in Ghana, you must as well want to have doubts about the one that you're taking in the US. I've taken the Pfizer. I got the COVID about a week ago, about 10 days ago. I got it. I got the Omicron. And for the past 1 week, I've been battling it. In fact, it is yesterday and today that I feel better, right?
So sorry
there are some light coughs. I did 3 tests. They all came out positive. So I know how it is. And this was I had taken it before. The question of whether if you've taken it before, it doesn't affect you and all that. I have members of my family in the house, about 5 of them. They said they're not going to test, but one person tested and it's positive, right? Hasn't taken any medication and is responding to treatment. So all these things, we all are at the experimental stage of finding out what exactly this is. And I've had the opportunity to talk to doctors and stuff like that, and all these people. They say, they don't know. Dr. Atu will tell you this is a novel virus, whatever. So the scientific world, the doctors and all these people are still studying this. So, until such a time that we get the full information and everything about this, everything is experimental. And we have to go with the way it is. This is not the first time. It has happened before. And this is how they overcame it. So for me, we all got confused when everybody out there take just one information and trying to lambast the scientific world or try to go political or use it for whatever. What I mean, this is unacceptable, right? And if we want people to be making statements on the COVID situation in Ghana, when this hit, the NDC set up the COVID-19 team. They made 1 or 2 propaganda and you don't hear about them. And this was a team that was full of scientific. They realized that all that was happening are the truth. So until such a time that you get a different contrary view. Come on now. Let us go with the way what is going to take for us to overcome this. You can make your case, but you cannot in one breath say, why have we vaccinated this number? And in another breath say that the vaccine is not good. Who is going to take it? If you know that what you are saying, someone will take it.
I think the NDC person you're speaking about here, the communications officer, Sammy Jeffy was speaking his individual capacity, right? He wasn't speaking for the party. So you couldn't blame that on the NDC per se, right?
What is the difference? What is the difference, man?
You for instance, when you come on this program, you tell us that you're speaking for the party, and some of what you say doesn't necessarily reflect your own opinions, right?
Right.
So we all do that, and he, in this particular instance, was speaking for himself. He wasn't speaking.
But he has not just made one statement. It's a series, and he went out there looking for documents and stuff like that. What he should know is that he holds a very important position, and most of these things is that people cannot really differentiate between his personal views and his views as a communication officer,
right.
and we're talking about this thing here. So for me, we all can have our doubts about the vaccines, right? But we shouldn't use that to be the gospel truth for which we will prevent others who may not be in a position to make certain decisions, but their decision will be based on yours. To prevent them from taking the vaccines, people who otherwise would have taken it if you had not made such a statement.
Right.
You get the point. We are all confused. We are all confused.
Yeah,
but the leaders will kind of come up with something. We cannot also sit down, right? So we have to do something to overcome it. So please, let us all be part of the success and not, go through this thing that we do. So that is that on the vaccine. So for me, it is an individual decision. You don't want to take it, don't take it. Okay? Don't prevent others from not taking it. But I believe that, we have leaders who, if they are so wicked as to put in us something that is not good, I think time will tell, and then we're going to take it out from there. But for now, we don't have any evidence to believe that what they're giving us is not good.
All right. Thank you so much for that.
So and then quickly on the economy. And COVID management and stuff like that. We all have seen how COVID has devastated the world. There was so much contradiction in what Paul was trying to say. You cannot, at this point in our time, take COVID out of economic management and stuff like that. Supply chain has been hit. Look at the US. Prices of goods are going up left, right, center, and it is because supply chain has been hit by all of them being COVID, and we have not overcome it yet. We've done our part. So you cannot talk about economies without talking about COVID.
Right.
For obvious reasons. So if you take it out, it is not, you are not being realistic. But regardless, we are going to tell our leaders that, do as much as you can. And they are doing their best, trying to get that vaccine, trying to shore the economy, trying to come up with policies that will take us to the next level. And if you think that e-levy is going to help us, but for you, for purposes of politics, you say no, then what are you? You are not helping build a nation. You are helping wreck a nation. And that is not good for us as a country.
There's a lot in there that we have to unpack.
Oh yeah. We can have further discussion. But for me, I believe the e-levy is good. We just have to continue to discuss it and come to a conclusion. But I know that finally, the NDC will accept it some way, in a very subtle way, to appease to their right now, I think the problem they are facing is that they've come to the realization that is good. But because they held on to the past, they kind of confused as to how they're going to show something to support the government and then be lambasted by their supporters. So, but something will come out, and then let's wait for the 15th or 18th, and then we're going to take it out from there on the 18th.
When Parliament returns. Okay, great. yeah, you've bottled a lot into that submission, but some of which we would go back to. We'll go back to COVID discussion. But what I wanted to do now is talk about the chaos in Parliament since January 8th or so, when this Parliament was inaugurated. We've seen a lot of fights, and it doesn't look like this skirmishes are reducing, or that we have. It doesn't look like we're finding any solution to the type of scenes we are seeing from Parliament, or we've been seeing lately. Let's go to Daniel on this. Daniel, what is going on in our Parliament, and what is one recommendation you think that will help? I know we have, of course, a very divided government at this point, and like you said, they said, be careful what you wish for, right? We wanted to have equal powers in Parliament, and this is what we have currently, and we've seen how that has unraveled. Policies are difficult to pass through Parliament. A lot of things are just hard to do in the current Parliament. What is the one thing that, if you were in a position put in front of Parliament to advise them, what would be that one thing you tell them?
I haven't followed. Can you hear me?
Sure, I can hear you.
Yeah, I haven't followed Parliament since they resumed from recess after the December chaos that we witnessed in the House. I don't know. They've come back. I mean, it's their job to do. They know what to do. I mean, the House, they cannot all agree. I mean, on the same things. That is not expected in Parliament. Even in the same political party, people don't agree on the same issues, right? People have their different ways and different perspective, but at some point, everything, some few people will make the decision, right? Some few people will carry it through. So, and everybody else have to just agree or disagree. So, technically speaking, like I'm saying, the NDC, for how long can they fight this? They can't fight government policy and win all the time. No, they can. The ones that you can win will be the ones that you take a Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court will make a pronouncement, and that will be those that have to do with like constitutional, issues. You get what I'm trying to say? But when it comes to government policy, no opposition can, I mean, especially if the government side have the numbers. You get what I'm trying to say? It is only when they don't have the numbers, then at that point, that government, I mean, effectively, it's in the hands of the opposition. But in any democracy where the government has the numbers, even if it is of one majority, like in our case, I mean, that favors, or, I mean, there's no way the opposition can dictate to the government how that government should rule the country. Then if that happens on the day of election itself, what are you going to tell the electorate? How are they going to know that party and your party? You have to make your point and let Ghanaians know I'm against this, and let it be on the record. And then on the day of election, you tell the Ghanaian people, hey, I told you this report, they don't know what they're doing. We have the answers. We told them this was not good. They still insisted they wanted to do that. That is your best that you can do. So as far as me it goes, I don't see how the NDC can tell the MPP not to implement a policy that the MPP wants to implement. It doesn't happen anywhere in any democracy. You get what I'm trying to say? Yes, but forcefully you can say all you want to say. Let the media hear you out, point it out, let it be on record. And think about it. You think that you are saying you don't like this?
There were times that, when the NDC was in government, that the MPP had, even though they were in opposition, gotten certain, propositions not passed. Like, the NDC was going to do all kinds of other things, like taxes on some certain taxes that were proposed that couldn't make it through Parliament because Parliament rejected them. What do you say to that?
Well, you see, sometimes if you're a government and there's wisdom in what the opposition is saying, you don't dismiss it too as well. That's what I'm trying to say. So, and this is the case where the government might have mixed or lost sight on some policy, the implication of some policy, and then the opposition draw attention. And if you find wisdom in that, and you think that, I mean, what you're saying makes sense, you don't ignore it, you take it. But like I'm saying, if the government that has the policy still insists that he doesn't think that your argument is superior to you and he wants to go ahead, at that point, you, the opposition party, you can't stop him. That is why he's the government. Let him go ahead. You have made your point. You have told Ghanaians.
So even if the government wants to take a really, really bad decision, you are saying that the opposition is helpless.
Yes, at some point the position will be helpless because if the government still feel convinced about its position and it thinks that its position is superior, it is only a matter of time that we'll see who will be vindicated. You know what I'm trying to say? And
Right.
that is part of the politics. So now at this point, how do I know if the MPP is right or wrong? People will have different opinions no matter what. You get what I'm trying to say? So let them go ahead and implement it. They have the power now. And if they implement it goes wrong, then the NDC would have won in that case. But think about it. If they go and they implement it and it's successful, the NDC too will have the backlash. So it is not a certainty that because the NDC said it is bad, when we go to the polls and the Ghanaians realize that the thing was good, that at that point the NDC still loses political capital. Right. So this politics thing, you have to be very mindful. That is why I always believe you come in with a balanced approach, so that even if you are wrong, people can pardon you. People can appreciate that you came in with genuine good reasons. You were not overly partisan. You were not overly political. You just wanted to cause, a downfall of a policy. People know that you came with good points. And even if at the end of the day, the government succeed and they are successful, people will not, you won't have the political backlash as heavy as when you just made it more political. So as far as I'm concerned, yes, I mean, the NDC have made some good points. They've raised some good issues about the tax. And I think that government has to listen to those and incorporate those. If it wants to go ahead with them, I would say, hey, 2024, the people will have this in mind, because there is a major structural shift in terms of taxation in our country. You get what I'm trying to say? And everybody is going to be impacted indirectly, directly somehow. So it's going to bear on the things that influence people to vote a certain way or not vote a certain way. So it isn't one of those policies that just a few people who always keep paying taxes will be paying, and then the other masses don't pay, so they just go and vote anyhow. For this one, most people are going to be impacted, and they are going to vote with their head. They are not going to vote because, my grandfather has been voting MPP or NDC. Even when I feel the pain of the policy and I feel I'm paying the taxes and it's not being used right, I'll still go into that booth and still go and thumbprint for the party that doesn't use the taxes, the money that I gave them to. Even in your own family, when you give them money and they misuse it, you think that you just say because they are my family members, I keep giving them the money? So think about it, how more at the political level, if somebody belongs to MPP and they are going to pay this tax and they can feel the effect, and you, as their government comes and you mess up, they will just go out there and thumbprint and vote for you, give you money and thumbprint and vote for your mismanagement again. No reasonable person will do that. So for me, that is why I like this policy. That when everybody begins to pay their portion of the taxes, and then they see that politicians are not doing right, their heads will top. It is indeed their political affiliation that will lead them to the vote, the ballot, or in voting. They will begin to think through when they are voting for political parties, and they will begin to speak up through the power, because now your skin is in the game. So you know that, hey, it is not easy for me to make this money, and you come and tax me and you misuse them on unnecessary, travels, unnecessary S-dashes, unnecessary other things that I don't feel I want. So for me, that is why I want this tax, because as of now, it is just the 30% of the few people who are overburdened. So when they speak and they speak louder, the majority of the people who don't pay these taxes don't get the connection. They make it look like the issues are just belong to some elite group who sits in Accra, and they don't care. Now everybody will care, and everybody will begin to listen. And when things the country begin to make noise, you understand that, hey, Charlie, these people, they are not making noise for themselves. So they are making noise for all of us, because we are all part of this. We are paying the money, we are paying the taxes. When other people get up and they are talking, you take time to listen to what they are saying. You won't just brush them off, because at the end of the day, it is your government, the money that the government takes from you.
Supposing that, civil engagements can only be triggered by a situation where everybody's meant to pay some taxes, right?
In our environment, yes, we need that spread in our environment, because the very few people that have been advocating, they get impacted mostly when these taxes are increased. Just a few people. Overburden continues overburden. We can't continue to overburden those people. And that is why those people are vociferous, because they can feel the impact directly when these taxes have been taken out of their money. The other many people, they don't care, because they don't get to pay directly the way these other people pay. Maybe they pay indirect taxes. Of course, everybody pays indirect taxes. We all pay. So for me, that burden sharing will bring a structural change to the way we evaluate or hold public officers accountable. And for me,
Right.
it doesn't matter at that point whether it's MPP or NDC. I don't think NDC can do cancel this policy. Of course, the government wants money all the time. They are not going to cancel this policy. They are going to keep to it. So politicians across the board, we've been finding it difficult to hold them accountable. This is for me one policy that will make us will be able to what? Once we are all new burden sharing, we'll be able to hold people accountable, not just think because they're from a political party, anything they say will pass. So that is one of my biggest reasons for supporting this tax policy, because of the wide implications it had on many people across the country. Because electronic money doesn't care if you live in Aflao or if you live in Numboso, my village. You get what I'm trying to say? It doesn't care because they're using an electronic platform.
I see that there is a lot of energy to discuss e-levy.
So for me, Parliament, the NDC, I've heard their point of view. They can do what they want to do, but if the government wants to pass it, they'll pass it. That will get through. That doesn't mean that the NDC is weak. It doesn't mean that, the NDC has failed Ghana. No. It is just the setup of a parliamentary system and how it works. So if you understand this, you are not going to be surprised. So I don't want people to go out there blaming that, NDC couldn't stop. How would the NDC stop it? If they have 137, you think they have the power to stop it? You think the government that also has 137 and have the executive arm of government cannot push it through? So sometimes let's be fair to our objectives, and what expectation we give to people. Because they are in opposition, you don't give them unrealistic expectations. There's a limit to which the NDC can go, and I think that is what they've done. Beyond that, I don't think they can do as much as far as I'm concerned. So that is me my expectation in 2022. Government, it appears government is bent on passing it, and they'll have their way. That's what I see coming up.
Okay, great. Yeah, so great submission, and let me take that to Paul now. Paul, the problem we witnessed in 2021 was that our parliamentarians couldn't agree on anything. They fight, in broad day with cameras on. These people are fighting like little kids. This fight started all the way from the beginning, when the first day of actually when this parliament, or is it the 8th parliament, was inaugurated, when they were trying to choose a speaker and etc. We saw what happened in parliament, and that has continued. We've seen this across the world, where parliaments actually get in contentious discussions and blows are thrown. But is this healthy for us? And if it is not, what do you say to leadership of parliament, or what would you say to leadership of parliament as a way of them resolving this type of issue? So we are not seeing them fight, making a disgrace and mockery of an institution as important as our parliament of our country. By the way, I like your background. I was gonna tell you that your space is looking wonderful now with the computers and everything. But thanks for dressing it up nicely, and Ghana Agenda is blessed for it. But yes, so for those questions, what would be the one thing that you tell Parliament?
Leadership of Parliament. And then I've seen the face of the propaganda champion of the MPP. So if I understand that this year, 2022, I will match him boot to boot anytime he tries to do propaganda. Anyway, that's on the lighter side. Look, Mr. Amuzo,
it's do or die, right?
It's do or die affair for me and him, 2022.
I hear
Mr.
you.
Amuzo, the attribution you give to the member of parliament that they are fighting like kids, I disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Our national anthem and national pledge says that we should resist the oppressor's rule.
Right.
This is the case whereby this super incompetent government think they can use their numbers to oppress, to make decisions which they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And when Daniel was making his submission, he stated that the NDC cannot decide and make policies for the government. And I think the better he understands that the new composition of the 8th parliament is not just like any of the parliament we have in the past, the better it will be for them. Why am I saying so? The country that we have all subscribed to is democracy. Democracy has been categorized under 3 arms of government: the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. The legislative enact laws and the executive pass those laws into operation. Let Daniel sitting there understand that the 137 of the NDC and the 137 of the MPP plus the one independent who has said you're going to do business with the MPP is not an issue for him to sit here and say that the opposition cannot decide what policies the government should take. Democracy says that the majority carries the day. If an issue goes to parliament and the minority carries the day, that is what it is. Likewise, when an issue goes to parliament and the majority carries the number of votes, that's how it is.
Right.
Now, as we speak, the only difference is one. And let Daniel understand that this e-levy issue, whether it passes or not, as I stand here and as I speak, I know the stand of the minority is that we will not allow it to pass. As we speak, I can say for a fact, also on this show, that the majority, led by their majority leader, still do not understand what we call engagement. You cannot pass or have your way through in this kind of parliament, which is a hang parliament, and you think you can have your way through. It's not going to be possible. Look, whether they like it or not, as they did before the last parliament rose, whereby they sent private jets to Germany and then to UK to bring people down for them to vote, they can continue to do that if they think they have the capacity and they think they can continue. Let's do that route, or let's take that route. They should understand that whether they like it or not, this is the time for them to leverage, to consult, to sit on a table with the minority. Minority is there to put the government in check. And if the government is bringing any policy that the minority think is going to hurt the good people of Ghana, including Daniel who is sitting there, including my brother Ifa, including you, Amus, including me, if the policy is going to affect us, they have every right to rise up against it.
But he's saying that let them implement it, and when they fail at it, you have the opportunity to run against them based on that and win.
I agree totally with that assertion. I'll come there. I agree totally with that assertion. But the question is, how to go about it is for the majority to understand, and they should have in their head that the kind of parliament we had, whereby they had 169 as against 106, is no more. You have to leverage, you have to consult, you have to sit on a table with the people to come into what? A compromise. Right. If you think you can use your numbers to bulldoze your way through, it is not going to happen under this parliament. I am saying and I am stating over here that when that e-levy, look, Mr. Amus, unfortunately, the way the voting will be going, if they have all their 138 people in parliament, they will have the day and they can implement the e-levy. But I can tell Daniel for a fact that the corporate institution, people in Ghana, the common people in Ghana will rise up against this e-levy even if they pass it. Because it is not something that is workable. It's not something that they can sustain. They should have started at a lower rate, which I, of this show, have agreed with that. They should have started with somewhere 0.5 and see the way it's going to go. But the 1.75 is too much because already people are struggling to find 3 square meals a day. The question we need to ask ourselves is, this government, did they think that 1.75, assuming a year, they will be making around 6 billion Ghana cedi from these levy taxes? The question we are asking is that only 2021 financial irregularity that has been brought on the table, which the auditor general is talking about, is 12.845 billion Ghana cedi.
Right.
For the 5 years that this super incompetent government has been in power, financial irregularity is hitting almost 38 billion Ghana cedi. Now, the question we are asking is, what mechanism are they putting in place to block or to reduce these financial irregularities? I am not going to be an ostrich here. Financial irregularity keep on happening. In the NDC era, we see them in the millions. They try to fight it to reduce it down. You cannot do it 100%, but at least put something in place to be able to reduce these financial irregularities. If you are losing 12.85 billion a year only, and now you are crying for 6 billion, why would you put mechanism in place to make sure that you reduce this financial irregularity that is happening under the super incompetent government, so that you can farm that money to support the economy?
Okay.
I am saying over here that
so it appears you are still on e-levy, and we're going to come to e-levy, but I wanted to kind of really flesh out the issues we have in Parliament and the fights, you know.
No, I'm coming there. I'm saying that this e-levy, so far as I'm concerned, the minority still stand at where they are standing. We've not changed our mind. We've not shifted. I am saying that e-levy, we are going to vote against it. They can have the 138 voting for it. That is fine. That is up to them. And I am telling, and I'm saying on this show that this policy is going to fail big time. And I am saying over here that the reason why they are refusing, to do the right thing. If you think you need money, go to the IMF. But Daniel and Ifan knows very well that they've been lying to the good people of Ghana with the figures they've been channeling being the economic figures. If we go to the IMF, you cannot go and lie to the IMF. You will be forced. They will look into your books, and the actual figures will come out. And they know if the actual figures come out, they will become a laughing stock. That is why they are doing everything possible to pass the e-levy. We will not. So koto to the pressure that they are bringing. We are going to stand. We are going to resist our pressure through. We are going to make sure that we stand on our right, and Parliament is going to be more interested in this year 2022, because the NDC will not allow this super incompetent government and their ministers and MPs just to push anything through. Mr. Mutu, as we speak, do you know that the Ejapa that they passed in the 7th Parliament, which was when they were 169, they passed it. As now, the investors are saying that if the minority do not support it, they cannot move on with the implementation. That is why they have brought the Ejapa back. So if Daniel think the minority
the president had asked that the Ejapa deal be suspended when Amidu came out with the sort of the No,
Mr. Amos, that's not the case. That's not the case. The Ejapa deal was passed by the 169 Parliament of the 7th Republic of the NPP.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why they cannot move on with that, the stakeholders, the people they are going to sell our royalties to, have noticed that they can be changed in government at any time. So they are saying that until the two sides of Parliament back into the agreement, they cannot move on with it.
Right.
This should tell Daniel, who is sitting here and telling us that the minority cannot make decisions for government, should tell Daniel that the minority is important. Even if the NDC is in power, the minority stake is important. In every democracy, the minority joins to make the democracy beautiful. If Daniel think the minority cannot make decisions, they should go ahead with the Ejapa. Let's see. The Ejapa cannot move on until the minority gives its total support to it. And I am here to let you know that the minority in Parliament, led by Honorable Haruna Idrisu, we are going to fight these people boot to boot. We are going to ensure that they are not going to have any bogus policies to pass through, just like they did in the 7th Parliament. They should come onto the understanding that the minority is there to put checks on them. They should come to the understanding that if they refuse to come into compromise and sit on tables and let it go into the head of Che Mensah Bonsu that he cannot have the sort of parliament he had in the 7th Parliament. This is a new parliament, and he has in mind, he makes his mind to come clean. Look, he's not going to have it easy.
Paul, Ejapa already passed, right? Ejapa passed in the old parliament, right?
Well,
It's not passing the old parliament, but you know why are they not moving on? Because
It's the magnanimity of the president that says that.
the president
it's
said
not
it's
true.
okay, yeah.
It is not
Exactly.
true.
But the
No,
president- the president
Paul. What you have said is
That
not
is a
true.
fact.
No.
The president did after Amidou
The
came
president
out.
asked that no, he wanted to
Time
come
he
back to
came out, the
It is
parliament.
the president who said,
put a
yes,
hold on
it is
this.
the president. It is solely on the president. It would have been implemented.
It
Right.
is not solely on the president. I am
It
telling
is
that
solely on
why
the
they
president.
implement it.
You people
It is not
oppose
true.
free SHS.
Because-
You took free
because
SHS
the
even to the
stakeholders-
Supreme Court, Meboa. You took free SHS to the
stakeholders-
Supreme Court. Ayalika took free
stakeholders-
SHS to the Supreme Court. Have we not implemented
All
it?
right.
You resisted
Okay.
the card. You resist. Why have you not resisted? You have resisted every single policy. Give me a policy that you supported. Give me a
If I am
policy.
speaking, if I am speaking, and I
Give me
say,
one policy.
Paul,
Mr.
wrap it
Musu.
up so we can wrap it up so we
I
can
am on
speak
the
to
floor.
our- 'cause the
I am
five senators,
saying
I wanna get them.
that as much as Martin Amidou exposed the rot in this Ejapa, whereby the president is deep neck involved, his minister of finance trying
look
to
at
go to Amidou's house. Did I hear what? That can you repeat what you
No,
said?
no,
I didn't
no.
hear what you said.
No, if I
I
was
am
saying, look at
saying,
that.
I am saying that the president is deep in the Ejapa deal. That is why he asked Amidou not to come out with the report. He should hold on the report. If you have no interest in it, what interest do you have in asking a special prosecutor to hold on this report? Number
Right.
two, the president is deep necked in this Ejapa deal because that is why he sent his minister of finance. What was the minister of finance going to do in the house of Martin Amidou on a Sunday? You see, these people, I become very sad when my brother Ifa and then they come and sit here try to defend this corrupt deal that has gone on. I am saying that as much as the president knew that he's deep neck in the deal, he's been caught. He said they should hold on. I am also saying that the stakeholders, those people that they'll be selling their royalties to, are also saying that until the minority put their stick into it, they are not ready to move on because they don't want to move on. Whereby when the minority come to government, they will say that this is a bogus deal. They will not move on with it. So
And it
those
makes sense for people to actually have that position, right? 'Cause
Exactly.
we really want,
Exactly.
especially
exactly.
with,
So
very
let
contentious-
Ifa and Daniel not deceive us here that it is the president who stopped it.
Mhm.
Apart
Can
from the
I ask a
president
question?
knowing
yeah, you
Sorry?
come right away.
as
But
far as
Paul,
Ifa
land on
and Daniel
that.
know, the president stopped it because he know that he has been caught. He and his brother Ken Oforiatta has been caught in the deal. He wants to go clean. I am also saying that the people they wanted to sell our royalties to, okay, the people are saying that until we get both sides of the house supporting the deal, they are not ready to invest or to move on or to invest any money into the deal.
Right.
And I can state on this record, on this over here, that if the president gives his approval today, that deal will never go through because the investors are not ready to put their money into such a dangerous and a wicked draconian deal passed by a first president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Our
Even
president.
though the Ameri deal, all the deal he did, the Ameri deal is not enough for him. He wants to sell our royalties to. If I beg you, this royalty, it will not be sold today, will not be sold tomorrow. We will fight and resist Ejapa and let it serve notice that the members of parliament in the minority will fight the majority boot to boot if they bring any bogus policy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that submission here. What I'm hearing is that the NDC is really in a fight mood. They're going to fight the NPP on everything. I didn't know the qualification to actually get in parliament is boxing, but it's looking
It's
like
not fighting, Mr. Musu. It's not fighting. We are going to resist every oppressor's rule. We are not going to fight them. We are going to resist them. We will resist them from any tricks they will play, any games they will play, trying to push policies through. It's not going to happen. The reason why the fight happened the last time was that they were trying. How can a speaker counting yourself as part of all having a casting vote? Where have you heard it from? Where have you heard such a thing from? So
yeah,
look,
our constitution doesn't allow it.
exactly.
Yeah.
See, See,
But of course,
what I believe is going to happen,
I think
Mr.
you made
Wusu,
your
what I
point.
believe is going to happen, is that when
Yeah.
Parliament goes back next 2 weeks, is it 25th? Yes, 25th. When they go back, they are going to amass all their 138 people over there.
Uh-huh.
Speaker Babe will be sitting in a chair.
Right.
They can pass the e-levy policy, but it will come back to hurt them. That's
Okay.
all I will say.
All right. Cool.
Yeah,
Well, I was gonna go to a fab.
okay. I just wanted to ask, what do you call it? About this, so that
If you ask Paul question, you're gonna bring him in and
okay, go ahead. That's fine.
hold it. Yeah. Fab. You know, it's disgraceful for those of us sitting outside and watching our parliaments and seeing those pictures on our screen all the time. These are highly educated people, and they can just sit down. They can sit down and agree to disagree. We don't need to see fight. That's where I'm concerned. I think it disgraces the entire country. It makes us look just bad, you know. What would you say to parliamentarians, people who go to work for the country to pass laws that will move this country forward? What do you say to them if you had the opportunity to speak to their leadership about how they are conducting themselves?
Yeah, thank you very much. So quickly on Paul, I hope he's listening. So when Martin Amidu made
I am listening to you very well. I am listening to you very well.
When Martin Amidu made the risk assessment on the Japan, he also put in there the Airbus where he identified Mahama, and then yes, where he identified Mahama as the government. Can I make my submission? Where he identified Mahama as government official one, and then government official one.
Say Mahama was government official one. He did not. That's you saying that. He did not say Mahama was.
I am telling you, we identified him. Let me finish with myself.
We've already read the report. There was no part of that report.
So when he identified Mahama as government official one, Mahama came out.
That is a lie.
Can I finish?
No, that is a lie. That is a lie.
Can I finish? He identified
Mahama as government official one. That's a lie.
He did. I am telling you, the report pointed to him as government official one, and that because he was a presidential candidate, and that he was not going to touch it until he finished. Now, immediately after the report was released, why did he insult him as a coward? And that he came with a line to give some form of a leverage to the Ejapa criticism. Why did Mahama come out and insult your friend is saying Martin Amidu as a coward? If he wasn't government official one, identified as such. When I read the report and all that, I am telling you, Mahama is government official.
Mahama was asked this question multiple times, and he explained that you've been asked to do a corruption risk assessment on a Japan deal. It has nothing to do with Airbus One. If for instance, I mean, we know the Office of Special Prosecutor is investigating all kinds of cases. And by the way, it's not only the Airbus One that he actually put in that report. So we are saying that when you are preparing a report on one issue, why bring all these other things to distract? You can go and release a separate report on Airbus One.
Right.
And on all the other investigations that he's conducting. But bunching them together is what triggered Mahama to call him a coward, to say that, listen, you've got this issue clearly explained for us to understand what's going on. There's no point in trying to equalize in the same document. So Mahama will call it sort of equalize, right? But why is that his business if that is what Martin Amidu chooses to do it? You would have preferred this methodology. But he uses this methodology. All that I'm trying to say is that when Paul is saying that the president is neck deep in the Japan deal, corrupt and incompetent, he should have added how Martin Amidu added the Airbus 1-2 in there. That if there is any corrupt person in the country that has climbed the office of the president, there is none other than Mahama. And he knows it.
Nana means well. That is why at each point in time, when things are pointed out and he feels that there is a need for them to listen, and you can see the consistency of all those things, he would just and say, hey, let us look at this and let us see what we can. Have you ever heard these things in our have you heard this in our Fourth Republic where they withdraw and kind of come out and gotta do these things? No, they boom their way through. Now let me give you a typical example. When the current speaker was a minister of health, right? We were told that he brought military people to parliament to intimidate them to get a certain law to pass during his term. Huh? No. So much on that. So
that's an allegation, right? Or is this true and captured by the
So Chairman Sabunsu said it. So this is not allegation. So he has said it several times that if what he did, if we are to do that,
Sabunsu,
that is not true. It's not true.
A lawyer of his stature,
it's never true.
Would challenge anyone breaking parliamentary procedures by bringing security to influence them, right? He wouldn't sit down there and now come after years to allege it as it's not true.
So what he's saying is that that was what he did, but they did not allow them to enter into the parliamentary chamber.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. All right.
A military.
And that was an instigation. That was an instigation from then Minister Bagbin. That was an instigation from then Minister Bagbin. Now, let us go to Parliament and have a discussion. You see, maybe this may be a strong word, but that is what I see. I see that people that do not qualify in terms of competence and how parliamentary proceedings should go have entered into our parliament. There are so many of them. If you check their conduct, they are not fit to be there. Okay? By their conduct. Any parliamentarian that is behaving that way, to the point of they want to fight, to the point of they want to
let me ask you this, right? From the last episode we all saw, right, where the speaker, after officiating or after presiding over the discussions and the voting on whether, I think it was on the E-levy or so, deciding to actually step down for somebody else to go preside so that he can vote. If you didn't go physically to restrain the speaker from doing so, how else could you have solved this immediately? I think. So in there they should have rules on all these things. Now, what he was doing was according to his interpretation, right? Now, I don't know what the rules are. If a particular thing happens that is illegal, what do they do, right? I mean, you can go back and reverse it, right? Yeah. I don't think it is a parliamentary procedure that if they do something and it is illegal, you allow it to go. You have to prevent,
No. You see what they did by physically preventing somebody is illegal.
It's illegal, yeah.
Right? I think that what it is there in Parliament is that let's even go back to what Bagbin did and what is his name? Osei Wusu did. Bagbin rejected the budget, right? And then Osei Wusu passed it. Okay. So let's say Osei Wusu did something illegal, something wrong. Why has Bagbin allowed it to go on? What does the rule say if it is wrong? It is not wrong. It is not. If it is wrong, why have we allowed it to go? Why has it not been raised? Right. You got my point? Right. Yeah, you can't do this, you can't do that. Okay, so you see, they kind of just confuse us and bamboozle us into these things. So what Osei Wusu was saying is that it is something technical according to the rules. If I'm presiding, I cannot, but I can get up. Somebody says that, and I vote. Okay, so under what law does it fall under?
Yeah, that is purely
Right?
illegal.
Illegal based on what law? Based on what law?
In the parliament, they are
So what he is saying
all
is
standing orders. And even our constitution made it clear that
okay.
if you are presiding,
Okay, so
you're
when
casting
you see, so yeah, exactly. So the whole point with that aspect is this. And you see, one thing that sometimes we tend to think is that it looks as if this is done just for this occasion and it doesn't apply to previous stuff. Why is it that a parliamentarian is not being represented? Then in that case, there should not be a deputy speaker who is a parliamentarian. That the speaker, the
we are not going to be
deputy.
able to change the law here. The law is the law. The law says if you are presiding, you don't vote. So that was even repeated by, you know.
No. There are two types of vote. There are two types of vote in parliament. If we don't know,
right.
There's an original vote and there's a casting vote. No. Listen, there's an original vote and there's a casting vote. It says original vote. It says original vote. It does not say casting vote.
It says you do not.
It doesn't.
Vote. Even was it Sewusu or Chairman Sabosu who said it? I think it was Sewusu. He clearly made it that if you, and the videos are there going around, right? Where he says, if you are presiding, our laws are you do not vote, period. Case close. So the thing is, for the same person to try to vote by technically getting somebody else to just come and sit, to mean that he's no longer sitting after he has presided over the first part of the voting, and it was a division was called. When a division is called, you do the voice vote, and then you proceed to go do the whatever you call it, the in-person or counted voting as well. And he presided over the voice vote and wanted to go back and then vote himself. He cannot do that. But that is not really what we wanted to talk about. Right? What we really wanted to talk about is it's becoming too many.
I'll come in there. I'll come there, but let me finish with this one. So here is a case. You see, again, we can go back and forth on that. Here is a case where somebody thinks that this is legal. Somebody thinks that this, and me and you, we are not judges. Okay, we are using. You are using based on our position. Sometimes we are biased based on where we are standing to say, "Oh, this is right. That is not right." What prevents us from seeking interpretation and go away with it? Other than we use this as a fight and fight. In any case, you cannot tell me that if they do something wrong, they cannot correct it as parliamentarians to the point where they have to fight. Because believe you me, this is not the last time they're going to disagree. To the point where somebody want to physically fight, physically throw away somebody. Vagabonds have entered into the parliament. Some people have entered there and they don't need to be there. And it is about time some of them get booted out. Yes. And you see, when these things happen, right? When they go, I want them to correct it as going forward. This and this is the way we're going to go. Other than we leave it. You see, there are very technical aspects of our laws. You know, when they come up, because it can come up, it hasn't come up because we haven't faced those situations. When it come up, we need to strictly say, this is what we're going to do. And if there is no clear-cut law, you make the law and we'll move on. Other than, we cannot use it as and when it favors us and stuff like that. No, we cannot do that. It's going to bring fight all the time. It has to be clear-cut. You can do this. You cannot do this. You do this. It is wrong. This is the way you do it. As we go along, that is how we do it. But we want to do this to the point where some people are saying, this is the beginning. We're going to take it all the way to their houses, and some people are going to die. It's unfortunate. And it speaks to how some people are just bloodthirsty and want to kill and want to do this thing. Yeah, resisting does not necessarily mean go kill somebody. Because you think you have a right. Somebody too thinks have a right. If you think that somebody gonna die, somebody also think that you too have to die. And then what happens?
Did anybody kill it? I mean, where is the killing coming from, Afar?
Oh, after that, there was an NDC communicator that said, yes, even if they have to kill, they are going to kill. And then Tamaklo too said, Tamaklo too said on national TV that yes, this is the do and die that they said. That is what they started in Parliament, and that they're going to take it to people's houses one by one. So Paul is also advise your people. It is not a fight. It is not war. It is intellect and how we use our ability and our experiences as a country, to bring civility into our actions and stuff like that. But to the point of punches and want to throw people about, no, that is very uncouth and unbecoming of our parliamentarians. If there are vagabonds in there, they need to get out. We don't need vagabonds in the parliament. And that's what I'm going to tell them. They can call me at the privileges committee and I'm going to tell them the same thing.
All right. Fireworks. We love it. All right. So unqualified people made it into parliament and they are causing all kinds of troubles. Now, what I want to do is quickly, I think we have 2 quick things we want to talk about, but if we can wrap it up in the next 15 minutes, that would be wonderful, which will be right on the dot at 4 o'clock. Eastern time or 3 o'clock Central time at your place. Now, the 2 things I want us to kind of quickly address is, there were a lot of security issues that we've seen in the beginning or some point in the year. We saw a Jura where there were demonstrations and people were shot. We saw activists, getting, killed. In the case of the one that was killed in Ejura that actually resulted in the riot, we just saw the military or the police shooting in a crowd, killing or maiming 2 other persons. Since then, an IGP has been appointed. Would you say, in your view, that since the IGP has arrived, that things seem to kind of settle down a little bit, that the insecurity that we were worried about has actually been brought under control? Let's start with Daniel on that quickly.
Before I come to that, before halftime, I just want to ask, but who determines that some policy is bogus or is good? Who determines that? In a democracy, who determines that?
So I'll say Paul should keep that in the back of his pocket when he comes back.
That is why when you debate and there's no point, if in ordinance, it's not everything that Parliament votes on. Some things it's consensus, right? But if there's no, agreement, then of course you have to put it to a vote. That is when the vote becomes the last resort to resolve the dispute.
All these loan agreements,
exactly, to resolve the dispute. So the issue of who determines what is bogus and who doesn't determine what is bogus will come to the vote. Then come back to the IGP. I think. The IGP is an inherited institution that has been bedeviled with so many, challenges and I'll say reputational damage and lack of respect and professional integrity and all the things that you can speak about a professional body. So my problem is that, you see, when we say an institution is strong, there are elements of the leader being a strong person leading that institution. And there's an element too that you have to judge that institution. Without the leader, will that institution itself perpetuate itself and function with its systems and structures? So there are 2 levels, right? You need one without the leader's influence, and then see how the system itself will perpetuate itself or survive. And one where the leader comes in and then his presence is used to build that institutional capacity or the system and live it. At this point, I don't know what Dan Parish. I can see clearly that his leadership style is impacting on the whole structure of the Ghana police. But that as much as that is important and welcoming, the real deal is without Dan Parish, how will the police sustain this momentum? I think that is the big test. That if I want to judge Dan Parish, success, I would say success to the 2nd degree. That is what I'm expecting from him. That all what he's doing now is good. But it shouldn't be that because he's there now, that is why we're getting this result. We should make it like that, transform it and translate it like that. Beyond him, when it's not there, the police institution itself will have that self-confidence and capacity to be able to deliver on the very policies that is leading them on now. And I think that is a challenge I put before him. And I will plead with him to try and make sure that his stay at the Ghana Police Service transforms the whole institutional capacity of the police service. And then whatever he's doing now should not be because now he is there, everybody's falling like in line. But while he's not there, he should be able to make sure that his subordinates and everybody else beneath him are able to exert the same level of authority and respect, and then push through with what is right. As far as we are working with the law, don't fear. And the one big thing that I like is that even though the police have a lot of bad cases that they are supposed to deal with, I like the fact that the new wave seems to show some proactiveness. Like the police is very quick at reacting and making sure that they are not sleeping on issues and making the results known to people.
Right, especially like the guy who went shooting recently at the mall was apprehended within 2 days or so.
Yes, and that tells you that the police is up to date using social media. They are very effective. Their social media, they've gotten people out there who are helping them with the social media and tracking of information, technology, and using that to their advantage. And not just that, that is just one out of many that has happened. Before that, others have happened, and the police were being very straight, quick. And the police themselves are also trying to be law-abiding by going to court and getting court orders and using the right means to try and also make sure that they themselves are not a law unto themselves. I think that's signaling. And the proactiveness of the IGP. Recently, there was a police officer who was drunk and somebody was videoing him. And the police also reacted quickly to that. And I think that it's good. It is not the fact that they reacted quickly mean that the person has done anything wrong. No. But there's that signaling effect where people know that, hey, if this thing gets to the police, we have a reaction that comes from them. It's a big deal. That is how you engender confidence in law, the security service, in people, obedience to the law, in people's psychology, people's awareness. That behavioral shift from the police, I think, is commendable. And it's exactly what I've been asking of policymakers and leaders. And so if I was in Dan Parry's shoe, those are the things that I probably be doing, what I call the low-hanging fruits. And I'm glad that he's seen the psychology of the Ghanaian people and is using that psychological, small baby steps to try and bring respect to the police. And you see that by just doing that, the police themselves are beginning to realize that, hey, the times have changed. Social media is there. If we do something, we can be exposed. And if we are exposed, we are not above the law. Our code of conduct, our police service, rules will apply. And our leaders are watching us, not just physically, but they are watching us virtually.
Right.
That, for me, it's a big deal. So that if any police steps out there and they think that they can misbehave because their boss is not there, they are mindful that somebody external can capture that, because you can't control everybody from telling people not to capture you on Facebook or cameras and stuff. People can capture them. Once that gets onto the internet and their bosses sees it, their bosses are going to react. That singular act is going to cause a behavioral change in the police service. And people are going to be mindful whatever they do out there, not abuse the authority in that police uniform. And I think that it's commendable. And I also like the fact that the IGP, whenever there's a major, and this is the thing about security, you don't want to be reactive, right? You want to be proactive, preventive. Whenever there's a major incident, he goes there to try and calm the situation and understand the situation. And you know that what that does to the police service is that whoever is the figurehead there, that is responsible for that particular zone. Because the IGP came there, if he will always be on top of that issue, because he knows the IGP is following from afar.
Interested, yeah.
If the IGP himself have come down to this zone and have come to be directly involved with the issue at the initial stages, then I better not mess up, because it is at the very highest level of what? The authority of command or chain of command. And that also let people sit up, because then the thing is with people accountability. People don't want to be accountable for anything, but they want to enjoy the largesse of everything.
Right.
That is our problem.
Okay. Yeah. Great submission on that. Let's go to Paul. Paul, what would you say about the state of insecurity? Do you think this IGP has actually changed the dynamics and things are, looking? Because since he came in, it looks like we haven't seen much of the senseless killings, especially from the hands of the security forces themselves.
Well, if I thank you very much, Amuzu. I'm always guided by what happened to my good friend Ifa.
Right.
I'm not the type of people who jump into conclusion just like that. I remember 3 or 4 years ago, he was on Obapa Tio show, me and him. He was praising Amidu. He now turned up to condemn him, Amidu. With the police IGP, it's too early
Right.
to say anything about him.
Okay.
And all I can say is that let's give him more time. I mean, let's give him more time and see what he can do. For me,
Okay.
that's what I would say. I'm not going to go comment about it because I don't want Efa to tell me, like I told him, I told you so. I don't want Efa to tell me that. So I'm
All
not
right.
going to go deeper into it.
Okay, great. Now, Daniel did ask you some question before. Daniel said, Daniel, if you can repeat your question that you asked to Afar.
I was asking Paul Disoso that he said the opposition is not going to allow for any nonsensical policies to be pushed through.
Mhm.
And I'm asking the question that who determines what is nonsensical? Because you think that it's nonsensical. Somebody else on the other side thinks it's nonsensical. It's sensical. Who determines that? Because you say so, it should be so. That is why I said if it
Shouldn't that be the voters, though? So the voters at the end of the day.
Can I answer
exactly,
him?
that is the last resort. At the
Can
end
I
of the
answer
day,
him?
the voters
Can
will
I answer
determine
him?
that. But in between when that is determined and when you go to the polls.
Can I answer him?
Oh, yes, go ahead. Answer that.
The people of Ghana determine whether a policy is good or not. That is
Okay.
why when the VAT policy was introduced in the 90s, the good people of Ghana spoke against it.
Right.
This super incompetent president who has led over 56 demonstrations in Ghana led a demonstration that had 3 people losing their lives. That is how we are able to determine whether a policy is a good one or not.
Right.
We can all agree on this show that this e-levy, civil society have spoken against it. Common Ghanaians are speaking against it. The NDC is speaking against it. Other institutions are speaking against it. The Christian Council has raised their voice against it. So if he doesn't know how or the people who determine whether a policy is good or not, I've just educated him. As for Daniel, he's not my focus of attention. I just want to end up with 2 issues, okay?
Right.
I'm happy that my good brother Efa on this show this afternoon has admitted that the president, the super incompetent president, is deep necked in the Ejapa deal. I'm happy he has admitted it. So I'm happy about that. Number 2, Efa is my brother, and I'll be very sad to see him being dragged to the privilege committee and disgrace. And Alfred, I need this tape. A copy of this tape. He said he's not scared. So please, Alfred, I beg you, give me a copy of this tape. But because he's my brother, I'll not send it out. But I'll advise him that he should be very careful. As much as you might disagree with whatever is happening or what they are doing, the description about them, if they get you, you are in America, that is why you are saying so. If he was to be in Ghana, I don't think he will have the nerve to say that he's not scared facing them.
All right.
Number 3 point. I just also want to state over here that Efa has also admitted that some of their ministers that they've appointed, the Minister for Youth and Sports, was involved in the fighting. So the words he used to describe them equally goes to the Minister for Youth and Sport. And I'm disappointed that Efa and his government, NPP government, Nanado, the president who claims they've given all the world knowledge to his vice president, the 2 of them couldn't put their head together. But they were able to appoint a Minister for Youth and Sport, whom Efa has just described. I don't want to use the words Efa used because I'm not ready to face the privilege committee. But whatever it is, I'm just advising my brother Efa that I'm disappointed that Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo, with all the experience he has, was able to appoint someone who went to fight in parliament, which Efa has just described. The way he used to describe it, I'm not able to say that.
Okay.
Got it. I'll leave it here, and I think I'm very grateful to see my brother Efa back, because if he's not on this show, I'm not able to fire. And I'm very grateful that he's on this show. So we will listen to him, and then maybe next week we come back. So thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much. Efa, you've been called so many times, so I think it's only right that you respond to the things that have been said about you. But in doing so, Efa, can you also kind of give me a quick preliminary assessment of what we've seen with the IGP so far with regards to security situations in the country, where in the past the law enforcement outfit has actually been the most the perpetrator, or the ones who have been on the shooting end of a lot of the killings we see. Would you say the IGP is doing well? He's changed the dynamics, narrative has changed. We are no longer screaming about insecurity as we used to. Because it used to be that, every other month somebody's dead in the hands of law enforcement. Would you say he's doing well? Effa?
Yeah, thank you very much, Amuzu. Let me respond to what Paul said, and then so our parliamentarians, especially this 8th parliament, have behaved in a way that, I mean, if you look at it, everybody would have words to describe them. I'm not going to single anybody out. I'm just saying that vagabonds.
Ooh, that's too strong.
I'm going to repeat that. Vagabonds have entered that way.
That's too strong.
And they have to. You see, if you are a vagabond and you get into an institution, right, there are rules in that institution. So use the rules, and it is a place of dignity. So if you go there with all these behavior stuff, then you put the place into whatever you want to put it into. And that is exactly what they are doing. If they keep on repeating it, if they keep on repeating some of these things, we'll come there and we're going to give it to them. After all, taxpayers' money, our businesses in Ghana paying taxes and stuff like that. I send money to Ghana, and the taxes that they take, my family members are there. So when you do the good things, we're going to come praise you. When you do the bad things, we're going to give it to you. There's no two ways about that. Okay? So they should behave, and they should give us a reason to praise them. If you give us a reason to bash you, we're going to bash you. Okay, Paul is not because most of them are coming from a certain quarter, and that is where the whole point is. Okay, so that is that. Now, so this IGP, I agree with what I mean. If you don't want to assess him, that is perfectly fine. But he is doing a lot of stuff. In fact, just yesterday I heard that the MTTU is withdrawing this motto. They have this thing, they set it up. I've forgotten the word they use for it. The stations, they set up these whatever, and they'll be checking cars and stuff like that. They've asked them to stop. So there is a whole lot of practical reforms that you see, where you see the IGP, going around to make sure that, people are doing the right thing, bringing policing to the forefront of the people. But it is also very important that it becomes more of an institutional thing, that, reforms and discipline and all these things will outlive Dampare, and that is not just going to be Dampare,
so
and that when it's not.
Daniel is saying, just like Daniel is saying,
exactly. So that when he's doing well. He's doing well in terms of the discipline he's brought in, the proactiveness that Daniel talks about. The professionalism that the police to establish, but you need to go deep down. That when you get a 991 call, how are they responding? Logistics at various places. I watched one of his videos where he was, in fact, if the place was supposed to take a certain number, the number is over. It is not just that place. In Sanwem and all our facilities and everywhere, they are all choked. It's just too much. So if the place is supposed to take 10 people, and and it is a district place, and there are 25 offenders that are supposed to be put in some form of confinement, what do you want them to do? They have to make shift to whatever they have. So it is also important that we look at, we can do the statistics and know the crime rate and know that, okay, so for every district, let us provide maybe 100 capacity prison or a cell for them or stuff like that. So all these things are very important. It is not just, on the video showing that you have compassion, but you have to practically also provide what brings compassion. Speeches and your thoughts. It's also, you have to give life to it by putting in place the practical step that will ensure that. And it is important that all these reforms outlived him. That one day we'll say, oh, because Dampare put all these structures in place, no, we are reaping it, and it is on and on. And he will need the support of all of us, and especially the government. So the logistics, the training, and all these kind of things, the policy and all that put in place for us to have the the security and all these things that we need as a country. But so far, so good. Let's thank him for what he brings onto the Ghana politics.
Perfect. Thank you so much for those submissions. So, guys, I think it's past 4 o'clock, so we should bring it to an end here. But what I would do is bring back some of the things that we wanted to talk about that we couldn't discuss today. For instance, I wanted to also talk about the corruption and, of course, the firing of Domalaveau comes to mind. We also, even though that happened in 2020, also the appointment of the special prosecutor and how he is doing, some of the cases that he has discussed in the media, etc. Segleman, the case in courts. I want us to talk about that next week when we come back. And then also we saw cases level against Ato Forsen, former Deputy Finance Minister. So a couple of things are moving on the corruption front that I believe would make for good discussion next week. And some other issues like the petition and how it was handled, etc., economic development, e-levy, which I think we've scratched on in business. So tomorrow, I said tomorrow, next week we'll use half of the show for that, and then we jump into some of the issues that are coming up this year. It's 15 days into the year, and we've already have a lot to discuss. So, we'll tackle that starting next week. But I wanted to take the opportunity to say a big thank you to all of you for making the time to come on the show and share your views. Happy New Year to all of you. And if sorry that you're sick, but you still managed to join us. I really appreciate that. We pray that, you overcome your illness as soon as possible. With that, let me go to Daniel for your last words, Daniel.
Yeah, Happy New Year. I know we've all been busy, but Charlie, it shall be well. Paul, what do you call it? Amuzu.
Yes.
I think this year it's going to be interesting, right? And this is just, what is happening, like what happened last year or this year, it has to be settled because that will create the expectation for what is to happen in the subsequent years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And sometimes when the NDC and Paul keep saying, oh, this parliament is not like the old parliament, we have to bring in people like to get the 138. I mean, at some point, you think that all the NDC MPs will not have family issues. They will all be in parliament all the time. So it's not something that is only peculiar to an MPP side, right? It will happen to both sides. You don't know what will happen to it. As we give people take vacation, they take leave, they have family issues, they have constituency issues. So it's not every time, even on both sides, that you have all the NDC MPs. They will always be fit 100%. And that is not a realistic expectation to think that it's only the MPP side who will always not have their people. But it would have been nice because they have the ministers. I can get it because they have the ministers and other people. So the degree of that, it's going to be high on their side. But on the flip side too, somebody will say, well, in today's era where people know that we can do business on the phone, we can do Zoom, we can conduct these same meetings if we want to, or we have to be on the ground as ministers to supervise what is going on. What so that they cannot change their ways of working and then accommodate and live with the present challenges? You get what I'm trying to say? So for me, it shouldn't be anybody's excitement to say that, oh, because this parliament is not the old parliament, they think that they always have the full assurance that all their members will always be present at all times when it comes to taking political decision. And for all our information, and as we may all know, it is not every decision of parliament that is subject to a vote or a disagreement like this particular one. This is a major policy issue. Most of the time it's consensus. They don't even vote. And nobody even challenges that. And then they go through. So the few major policy ones, maybe yes, it will come on top. But that is, I would say, 2% of the entire work that parliament does. You know what I'm trying to say? So we shouldn't be too overly excited about these 2% that gets overly, bloated in the media. And, of course, that 2% to the impacts are huge. So yes, if that comes up, the media will talk about it. So I'm not too worried about that. But I'm saying that, going forward, and you see, Paul, that's why I tell Paul, if you want to do too much politics, your people, 2 of them, I'm told they are in court. They have been challenging their seats, right? So you see, don't push the political envelope too much. The executive government, if they want to, squeeze you, the opposition, Paul, you know they can do it. So don't try and challenge them as if, oh, you have the power, you can do something, and they don't have the power.
What are you saying? If the opposition disagrees
out there,
if the opposition disagrees with the policy statement, they should be able to challenge it, not because
no, you don't know what I'm saying. That I agree.
So, yeah,
you can challenge them, right? But challenge them using the democratic means. But don't make it look like you have some extraordinary power that beyond just challenging. And if they don't listen to you, you can force them to a certain.
I don't think they are doing so, right?
Well,
it's a numbers game, and you know. They hope that you bring a policy. I mean, the hope is that the policy is introduced that both parties agree on.
Let me ask one question. Tell me, since the days of Nkrumah from your history, what good policies have Ghana ever implemented that was not fiercely rejected by any opposition at the time?
Right.
That is our DNA.
They all fight over it, and all.
Every good policy that continues to remain up to date. When it was being introduced initially, whoever was opposition at the time or opposed it and fought it. And for the most part, NDC have never supported any major policy of the MPP that has come to stay. So has
the MPP never supported any major policy of the MPP.
So you see, so it tells you that is the culture of our politics. Even when we know that thing is good, our history has shown that we are not honest.
Right.
We try to play politics with it. So that is what I'm saying. Let them go through it and let the electorate decide if it is good for them or it's not good for them. After all, they have 4 years to go back to the people and decide on their fate, right? I'll end it here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Your voice did sound a little down today, though. Is it just cold, anything, or you good? It's your new style for 2022.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, and today I don't have I'm trying to use the camera phone. What do you call my phone?
Oh, your sound went away.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't have your sound was good. So yeah. Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. Those last words. Really appreciate it, Paul. To you and for your last words, what would you say about all the things we talk about, or some of the things you're expecting first talk about this week?
Well, for me, I mean, I'm just going to ignore all the submission that Daniel just made. I'm not even going to comment on it because it doesn't hold water. All that I will say this evening is that I wish my brother Ifa very well.
Okay.
Because I want him to be strong so that I can match him boot to boot, and I will expose him more in 2022. You should expect that I'm going to match him boot to boot and expose him. That's all I'll say as my closing statement. Thank you.
Yeah, but again, Daniel said some valid thing, right? So you just can't ignore him like that, right?
I'm just ignoring him because all what he's saying, I mean, he's contradicting himself. So I don't want to even go there. So I mean, my focus is on Ifa. Ifa should get well so that I can match him boot to boot and expose him. And Daniel, I will expose them more in 2022. That is what I've planned to do in 2022. I have nothing to say more. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Paul. All right, let's go to the boss man himself, Efa Ameyaw. And Efa, thanks again, for making the time. I know you have some conflict, but your commitment to the show definitely superseded all those other commitments. And we are grateful to be the ones you chose for the last 2 hours that you spent. So, Efa, what would be your last words, and what are you expecting to see for 2022? And what are some of the things that, perhaps maybe we should talk about next week? I've outlined some of them that we couldn't cover today, but in your last word, if you can pull all that together for me.
Thank you very much. I think I'm having problems with my internet. Is it okay? Can you hear
have
me?
A little delay, but you're good. You're good.
Government in power, but they don't have money to buy data.
Okay, so yeah, for 2022, I'm expecting the e-levy to pass so we can give Ghanaians, an additional taste of a good governance feeling for us to get to the next level. I don't even understand why a party that wants to come, an opposition party that wants to come to power, government is taking a decision that will let them lose, and you are opposing it. It's not true. It will help the good people of Ghana. In 2022, I want to see more of truth coming from NDC, not propaganda and lies. And generally, we all should think of how we can fight the canker in the system, indiscipline, and all sort of things that we see, around as people. And when we come on the show, as much as possible, let us come and make this show one of the best out there, as I always say. And apart from that, I'm committed to it and will come and, as much as possible, contribute my quota towards enriching the program and towards the development of the country. I know we all love our Ghana, and let us show that by our, our discussion and the quality of submission that we made on air. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, guys, that would be the Ghana agenda for January 15, 2022. Today's been great. We've done, we've taken, a stab at some of the issues that we've saw or things that we experienced in 2021. We still have a few more to discuss, and what we would do next week would be to revisit those ones that we were not able to touch on. E-levy being a big one that we would be looking at next week. Of course, Parliament is coming back, and the discussions will start again on the e-levy implementation, etc., passing it through Parliament, etc., etc. But curiously, I started asking myself, we have all these financial technologies, or what we call fintech solutions, out there today. There was a company called Binance, which is sort of a cryptocurrency company or a crypto platform that was admitted doing a lot of great work within the sub-Saharan Africa region. And if you're looking at the African Cup of Nations, you will see their banner displayed prominently as the games are going on. And this company in Dubai recently just got a license to actually issue cryptocurrency in Dubai. What we have seen is that some of the cryptocurrencies, right, are holding their value even more than local currencies in some of the developing countries or some of the countries within the sub-Saharan Africa. So people find it better or more economical to store their money or to save their funds in those cryptocurrencies versus the local currency, because the local currency is depreciating faster than the cryptocurrencies. Has the government thought of tasking transactions using cryptocurrency? So we haven't seen that, and therefore it begs the question that would this e-levy even would it be something that would stay for a very long time before it gets circumvented by other ways of payment? So these are some of the things we'll look at next week when we return. But in the meantime, this is the Ghana Agenda. Please join on Saturdays between 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Share the link so your friends can join. We've been talking about this product on the program, Joe, and we are saying that Joe is actually a war ration eaten by warriors during our grandfathers' days when they were fighting. I don't know what the fights were, but it has ingredients that it just gives you energy. Once you put it in your mouth, the spices rushed in. You are waking. For me, when I'm in a meeting and it looks like I'm a little sleepy, I pull one of these things, take a spoon, and all of a sudden the adrenaline just comes back. I just quickly wake up, and I share it with my coworkers as well, and we all love it. It's just an amazing piece of snack that has been doing wonders on the battlefields for our forefathers, and it's continuing to do battles in our offices. And so if you don't have one, please grab one. This particular one is from Elinyam. Elinyam is a friend of mine. Good product, well sealed. If you see it, even comes with plastic wrapped in front of it, so it doesn't. And then when you open it, the good stuff is really in there. That is recommended and supported by this program. Please get yours if you can. The place to get this is actually matter of fact, there are two phone numbers that you can call: 0244231195 and 0243996772, or just Google Elinyam, ELINYAM, and they have all sort of products that I'm sure you will be interested in. This is the Ghana agenda for today, 15th January 2022. We'll be back next week. If you haven't already done so, please share the link. My name is Alfred Amuzu. Great hosting the show today. Tugby, Peter Hanyo says, Ghana Agenda is doing a good job. Happy New Year to you all. Will be your guest. I'm sure that's what he's saying. Will be your guest in the future. Yes, we can wait for you to join us so we can discuss some of the issues impacting our community. I'm talking about the tidal waves and some of the border closure and some other things that actually happened in 2021 that we didn't have the opportunity to talk about today. So I'm waiting. Tugby, whenever you're ready, let me know and we'll get you into the studio and have those conversations. Again, thanks for watching. Please join us next week. We are grateful. Have a wonderful rest of the day.